Hello everyone, welcome to Masters Teach. And today we discuss about the regional kingdoms of Telangana and South India. So the main thing we are going to discuss about the Kakatiya, Vijayanagara Empire and Qutub Shahi dynasty. Okay, so it is based on the seventh social. Okay, so we'll discuss the South Indian history from 12th century to 17th century, in which we'll discuss about the history, culture, architecture, and governance of South India. Okay, so what are the regional kingdoms? So regional kingdoms were independent states that emergence the central authority of the large empires weakened. Okay, the governed specific territories developed their own distinct culture, language, and administrative system. So these regional kingdoms played very important role to preserving local tradition while contributing to India's India's rich historical heritage. So why they are important? So they built great temples, forts, monuments, and regional kingdoms promoted languages like Telugu, Kannada, and Urdu. These regional kingdoms developed trade, agriculture, irrigation, and they also resisted foreign inventions and protected South India. So they left lasting culture and administrative legacies. Let us see the timeline between 17th, 12th to 17th century. If you want, you can take the screenshot of this one. So these three regional kingdoms fell across in South India. So one is Kakatiya dynasty, then Vijayanagara Empire, then Kushbu Shahi dynasty. Okay, these are the thing. Yes, if you are newly watching my channel, please do subscribe and share with your friends. So first, the Kakatiya dynasty. So it is there between 1083 to 110 1323 CE. So the main capital of this Kakatiya dynasty is a Varangal. The region is Telangana. Then it comes to the second part, Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, which is there 1336 to 1646. So this capital is Vijayanagara Empire capital is Hampi. The region is South India. Then it comes to Qutub Shahi dynasty between 1518 to 1680 CE. The capital is Golconda, Hyderabad. The region is Deccan. So all three kingdoms overlap in time and significantly influence each other through wars, alliance, and cultural exchange. Okay, let us first will discuss about the origin and rise of Kakatiyas. Okay, so the Kakatiyas originally served as feudatory subordinate rulers under the western Chalukyas of Kalyani. They gradually grew powerful and declared independence in the region of Telangana. So the Kakatiya dynasty, their capital is Warangal. This is also called as Orugal, become one of the most important cities of medieval South India, a center of power, trade, and culture. Let us see key facts of Kakatiya dynasty. So the Kakatiyas ruled Telangana like 1083 to 1323 CE. The capital is Warangal Orugal. So the reason they ruled Telangana and surrounding Andhra Pradesh. So the religion of this Kakatiya dynasty Shaivism, that is the worshippers of Shiva. So they promoted Telugu. Founders of Kakatiya dynasty is Betaraja I and Prola I. So you have to remember for the examination point of view. Dynasty period, and you have to remember capital and language and religion. These are the important things. Then important rulers of Kakatiya. So there are three important rulers and one more female ruler also is there. Okay, Kakatiya, like Kakatiya kings or Ganapati Deva between 1199 to 1262 CE. So he is the greatest ruler. So he expanded his kingdom to cover most of Andhra region. So Ganapati Deva promoted Telugu literature, built many temples. Uh, his general, okay, Marco Polo reportedly praised his kingdoms and prosperity. So who praised the Kakatiya dynasty? That is Marco Polo. You have to remember. Then Rudrama Devi. So she lived between 1262 to 1289 CE. So one of the most famous and rare female rulers. So she ruled with great courage and efficiency. So she successfully defended kingdom against inventions and earned the title Rudradeva Maharaja. So for his command, she has the title called Rudradeva Maharaja to command respect. So this is about the Rudramadevi. Then Prataparudra II. He lived between 1289 to 1323 CE. So the last Kakatiya ruler, he fought bravely against Alauddin Khilji. So, a repeated invention. Despite his valor, he was defeated Malik Kafur and later by Ullah Khan of Delhi Sultan. This is about the important rulers of Kakatiya. Then, how this governance, irrigation, and agriculture. So, the Kakatiya has well feudal system of governance. So the kingdoms divided into provinces called Nayakaships. So there are many times in the TET examination they ask. So what is Nayakas? They are the chief. These are the leaders of uh, province. So they are called as Nayak ships. Okay, they are very loyal to the kings. So like the Kakatiyas has strong military and infantry, cavalry, and elephants they have, and they have efficient tax collection system. These Nayak are responsible for law and order, and they also constructed many irrigation tanks. Okay, they construct thousands of tanks to store rainwater, making Telangana is fertile agriculture region. The famous lakes here, Pakala Lake, one of the largest artificial lakes, the Ramappa Lake, to support the Ramappa temple area. Over 500, 5,000 tanks built across the kingdom. So through this, the production of rice, cotton, sugarcane, so got increased. So these are the what you have to remember: largest artificial lake, Pakal Lake, and how many tanks they built? Almost 5,000 tanks they built. Okay, that you have to remember. Then you have to remember is so the kingdom is divided into province called Nayak ships. Okay, these are the thing. Then about the temples, we'll discuss how the Ramappa temple and how the decline of Kakatiyas. Ramappa temple, which is built 1213 CE by General Racherla Rudra, who built the Ramappa General Rachella Rudra under Ganapati Deva. So Ramappa temple, it is a Rudreshwara temple. This is also called as Rudreshwara temple in Palampet, Warangal. So it is UNESCO recognized. This it is a world's UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this temple is dedicated to Lord Shiva and famous for floating bricks. So they are very light and porous. So they have the this temple has the carvings of dancers, so madhanikas and animals. So they built using the red sand stone and granite. So you have to remember when the Ramappa is built, 1233 CE, and which is by General Racherla Rudra under the Ganapati Deva. So this is Ramappa temple also called as Rudreshwara temple. Okay, at Palampet, Warangal. Then how this Kakatiya dynasty got declined. So in 1323, the Kakatiya dynasty came to end due to repeated inventions of Delhi Sultans. So Delhi Sultans came to Kakatiya region and they defeated Kakatiyas. So Alauddin Khilji forces attacked multiple times. This Alauddin came many times, attacked the uh, Kakatiyas. Then uh, Malik Kafur defeated them in 1309 CE. Then Ulha Khan finally captured Prataparudra in 1323 CE. So Prataparudra died on the way to Delhi. So this is the end of dynasty. So what you have to remember, the key facts here, Ramappa temple was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2021. If you want to have screenshot, you can take the same, or else I'm going to upload the same PPT in the description box where you can download the same at free of cost. Okay, then we'll discuss about the Vijayanagara Empire founding capital. Okay, so yes, Vijayanagara Empire founding capital we'll discuss. So the Vijayanagara Empire meaning, what is the Vijayanagara Empire meaning? City of victory. It is one of the greatest empire in the medieval India. So it is very powerful shield for South India against Deccan Sultan inventions. The founder of Vijayanagara Empire, Harihara and Hariharavan and Bukkaraya. These are the two brothers who form officially of the Hosa Hoysala and Kakatiya kingdoms. So they founded empire in 1336 CE with the blessing of the sage Vidyaranya. Okay, you have to remember the founder of Vijayanagara Empire is two brothers, Harihara one and Bukkaraya. Okay, they founded uh, with the blessing of sage Vidyaranya in 1336 CE. So the capital of Vijayanagara Empire is Hampi, which is built in the banks of Tungabhadra River. So present day, it is in Karnataka. So Hampi is a magnificent city, and they have grand bazaars, temples, palaces. So like this is described by foreign travelers as one of the world's greatest cities. They have four dynasties. The empire ruled by four dynasties. One is Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, and Aravidu. So it lasted almost 300 years between 336 to 1336 to 1646 CE. So if you want to have, you can take the screenshot of this. Then, like in Vijayanagara Empire, there is a Krishna Devaraya is the greatest ruler. Who was he? Krishna Devaraya 1509 to 1529 CE was the most celebrated ruler of Vijayanagara Empire. He belongs to Tuluva dynasty and is considered one of the greatest kings in Indian history. So he was very brilliant military command, a scholar and a patron of arts. He wrote Telugu literary masterpiece called Amukta Malyada. So, what literature he wrote, written by Krishna Devara, is Amukta Malyada. So, many times they asked in TET and DAC, do remember the same. So, when you are listening this class, try to make the notes on your own. That will be one type of remembering the facts. Okay. So what they achieved, the Krishna Devara achieved what? So defeated Bahmani sultans and expanded the empire. So captured Raichur from Bijapur Sultan in 1520 CE. Then he patronized the uh, Ashta Diggajas. That means, so they have 8 great Telugu poets. The Telugu poets called as Ashtadiggajas. So Krishna Devaraya built the Vittal temple and Hajara Ramappa temple at Hampi. So this Krishna Devaraya is maintained good relationship with Portuguese traders. So the Portuguese traveler Domingo Pias. Okay, praise the rule. Many times they ask in the examination, so who is Portuguese traveler who traveled during the Krishna Devaraya dynasty? It is Domingo Pias. You have to remember. So the Krishna Devaraya era is called as Golden Age of Telugu literature. Okay. Then, how the administration and military system was there. So, it is a centralized administration system, and the king was assisted by council of minister. So, the empire was divided into provinces. The provinces called as mandalams, then into districts, that is nadus and villages. So many times they ask what is province called in Krishna Devaraya administration, that is mandalams, and the district called as nadus and villages. Okay, then they have the Nayankara system. Nayankara system was backbone of administration. Nayaks. Nayaks is the military chiefs given lands grants in exchange of maintaining soldiers and paying tribute to the king. So military strength was, so Vijayanagara army as one of the strongest South India's military system. So which includes cavalry and war elephants, infantry, and even they have Portuguese trained musketeers using gunpowder weapons. Okay, then revenue system. So revenue was collected from the land tax, trade, and customs duties. So the empire maintained detailed land records. Special taxes were levied on merchants and artisans in cities. This is about the administration and military system. So we'll discuss about the economy and trade and agriculture in Vijayanagara Empire. So agriculture foundation of the economy. So the empire invented heavily on irrigation system, including canals, tanks, wells. So Tungabhadra ri- river supported extensive farming. So the major crops, agriculture, rice, sugarcane, cotton, spices. So the land was managed very carefully and taxed. So famines were very rare due to strong water or irrigation management. So in trade and commerce. So Vijayanagara was the major trading empire in Hampi's market, famous for their abundance. So foreign travelers like uh, Abdur Rajak and Domingo Payas describe it is a wealthy density. Okay, so they exported spices, cotton, textile, and iron. So also they imported Arabia's horses from Arabia and Central Asia. So they are active trade with foreign countries like Portuguese, Arabs, and Chinese. So ports of Mangalore and Calicut were key trade hubs. So this is the thing. Just remember what you have to remember. So these active like they have the travelers like Abdur Rajak and Domingo Pias describe the wealthy of Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, then what is the culture, literature, temple, and architecture? So the Vijayanagara era was a golden age for Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, and Sanskrit literature. Krishna Devaraya court had Ashtadikgajas. They have eight great poets. Is the leader for that Allasani Pedana. Okay, this is a important bit for the TET examination. Then temple architecture. So Vijayanagara temples known for their tall gopurams. Okay, that is the gateway towers. So intricate sculptures and large enclosures. Famous temples include Vittal Temple with the iconic stone and chariot and Virupaksha temple. So these are the temple architecture we have. Then performing arts. So dance performs like Bharatanatyam. So flourished music and drama patronized by the royal court. Women were actively involved in the arts and temple dancers. They are called as Devadasis, were highly respected in the Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, so what the battle they they fought? Battle of Talikota and Decline. So Battle of Talikota, which was there in 1565 CE. The Battle of Talikota, also called as Rakasa Tangadi, okay, was a turning point that ended Vijayanagara's glory. Four Deccan sultans like Bijapur, Bidar, Ahmednagar, and Golconda. So these four sultans united against the Vijayanagara Empire. So King Alia Ramaria was defeated and killed, and great city of Hampi was looted and destroyed, and never it got rebuilt. So reason for decline. So because these kings are over dependent on Nayankara system, Nayaks become too powerful, so they have lack of central army. So, so united attacks of four sultans, Bijapur, Bidar, Ahmednagar, and Golconda. Okay, and treachery of Muslim commanders during the battle. So the empire continually weak until 1646 CE under the Aravidu dynasty. So the examination point of view, you have to remember the Battle of Talikota was fought in 1565 CE between Vijayanagara and Deccan sultans. You have to remember the same. Then we'll discuss about the Qutub Shahi dynasty. I hope you're taking the notes. The Qutub Shahi dynasty, founder and capital. Okay, so Qutub Shahi dynasty is established in Deccan region. So after the collapse of Bahmani Sultanate, it became one of the most powerful and culturally rich kingdoms of medieval India. So the founder of Qutub Shahi dynasty is Sultan Kuli Qutub Shah, who is the founder of Qutub Shahi dynasty, Sultan Kuli Qutub Shah. So declared independence from the Bahmani Sultan 1518 CE. So he was a capable ruler who established his capital at the historic Golconda Fort near Hyderabad. So the dynasty period 1518 to 1687 CE. So total rulers, there are seven sultans. So the religion in Qutub Shahi dynasty is the Shia Islam. So often they ask about the dynasty period and total rulers and religion. So you have to remember the same. Then Golconda Fort. The capital is the Qutub Shahi dynasty. Golconda Fort is the capital. It is the original capital. Famous. It is a famous diamond market. So Hyderabad, founded in 1591 CE by Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah to solve Golconda's water shortage. There was a water shortage in Golconda Fort. That is the reason they planned for the Hyderabad. Okay, so Hyderabad became one of the most planned cities of the era. So with wide streets and water channels they have. This is about the Qutub Shahi dynasty. Okay, so you have to remember founder is the Sultan Kuli Qutub Shah. Okay, total rulers are seven sultan. The period of dynasty is 1518 to 1687. Okay, Hyderabad is founded 1591 by Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah. The capital is the Golconda Fort. Why they are shifted? There is a water problem in Golconda area. Then Golconda Fort was famous for diamond market. Then important rulers of Qutb Shahis. So one is Sultan Kuli Qutub Shah, 1518 to 1543. He is the founder of dynasty. So he established independence from the Bahmani Sultanate. So he built the Golconda into a powerful port city. So he was a poet who wrote in Telugu, Persian, and Urdu. And the Kuli Qutb Shah, Sultan Kuli Qutb Shah, is murdered by his own son. Then it comes to um, uh, here between Ibrahim Kuli Qutub Shah 1550 to 1580 is also known as this Ibrahim Kuli Qutub Shah, known as Akbar of the Deccan. So many times they asked in the TET examination. So he was the greatest patron of Telugu literature and culture. So he patronized the famous poet Addanki Gangadhar. So defeated Vijayanagara at Talikota alongside other sultans. Okay. Then Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah, he was lived between 1580 to 1612. So he founded the city of Hyderabad in 1951. Oh, 1591 CE by the Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah. Okay, so he also built the iconic Charminar. So he was celebrated Urdu poet and he created with the writing some of the earliest Urdu poetry, Diwan E. Muhammad Kuli. So it's the Urdu poetry written by Muhammad Kuli Kutubusha. Then Abdul Qutb Shah, okay, is the last effective ruler. So he encouraged Telugu and Persian literature. So after his resign, so he after his reign, the kingdom got weakened and eventually conquered by the Mughal Empire, Aurangzeb in 1687. Okay, take the notes. Okay, repeat the same because history little bit difficult, I think so. So that is the reason I'm reading the content. Okay, so this is the thing. Then Qutub Shahi dynasty will see about the architecture. Charminar like Golconda Fort. About the Charminar, we'll see what is here. Charminar is built in 1591 CE. So built by Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah. So he uh, commemorate the founding of Hyderabad and to mark the end of the deadly plague. It is a symbol of Hyderabad. Meaning of Charminar. Char means four. Minar means tower. There are four towers are there. It is built in Indo-Islamic architectural style. Okay. Then is uh, the on the top of Charminar mosque on the top floor. Then it is made up of granite, lime mortar, and pulverized marble. So it is surrounded by famous Lad Bazaar. Okay, so you have to remember about the Char Minar. Then many times it is asked about the meaning. It is asked who built building style is the Indo-Islamic architectural style. So the mosque is there on the top floor, and it is surrounded by the famous Lord Bazaar. Okay, why it is built? It is the end of the dead flag, the symbol of Hyderabad. Okay, it's built by Muhammad Kuli Qutb Shah. Okay, in 1950, sorry, 1591. Then Golconda Fort, one of the most famous fort of medieval India. So originally built by Kakatiyas, okay, and then expanded massively by the Qutub Shahis. The famous acoustic system. Okay, if you clap at the entrance, it can be heard at the top. Okay, you might be went to the Golconda, you clapped and you may heard this acoustic system, the sound system. If somebody claps in the down floor, it will be heard in the top. The fort, the fort had advanced water supply. It is surrounded by three layers of wall. So it is a home to the world's most famous diamond market. So the Kohinoor diamond is originated from Golconda Fort. Okay, this is the thing. So what is the culture, language, and economy? So language and literature, Kutubu Shahis, unique in promoting both languages, Telugu and Persian. So Telugu literature flourished. The Sultan themselves wrote poetry. So Urdu developed significantly in their court. Then diamond trade. So Golconda has world's most famous diamond market. So the diamonds like Kohinoor, Hope Diamond, and Regent Diamond are believed to have originated from the Golconda mines, so making legendary world history. So the trade and economy. Kutubu Shahis control the major trade routes. So they exported diamonds, textiles, spices. Hyderabad and Golconda become thriving commercial centers, attracting merchants from Persia, Arabia, and Europe. Then Persian influence. So Persian culture deeply influenced by Qutub Shahi architectural administration and art. Then Shia Islamic tradition. from Parsha shaped the festival, poetry, and culture. Okay, giving Hyderabad has a unique style of Indo-Persian uh, character. So this is the language, both Telugu and Persian and Urdu is also developed. They have the diamond trade. So famous diamond is the Kohinoor, Hope diamond and Regent diamond, and trade economy. So they use like exported diamonds, textiles and spices. Okay, so it's a commercial center for attracting merchants from Persia, Arabia, and Europe. It is Islamic culture tradition is there, and the architecture is Indo-Persian character is there. So this is the thing. So how it got declined? Mughal conquest. So Aurangzeb conquest uh, in 1687 CE. The Mughal Empire, Aurangzeb had long desired to bring the Deccan Sultans under Mughal control. So after a prolonged siege of Golconda Fort, it lost months. The fort fell in 1687 CE due to internal treachery. Gate was opened by the conspirator from the inside. So the last ruler Abdul Hassan Qutub Shah. Okay, Abdul Hassan Qutub Shah is also called as Thana Shah, was captured and imprisoned in Daulatabad fort where he died in 1699 CE. So the reason for decline, so constant pressure from the expanding Mughal Empire, so weak ruler in the latter period. So there is a internal court introduced and betrayals. So military and economic exertion from wars with the neighbors. Then treasury during the siege of Golconda Fort. So what you have to remember, after Qutub Shahi, the Mughal appointed the governor called Nizam, who was the latter become independent, the Hyderabad state. So this is a small presentation about the Kutubu Shahi dynasty. So we have some of the MCQs and which is important for your examination point of view. So here I hope you are able to see. I'm going to post the same in your description of this video. So, what is the capital of Kakatiya dynasty? Okay, Warangal, you know. Who was the famous female ruler of Kakatiya dynasty? Rudrama Devi. Okay, Ramappa temple was built during the reign of which Kakatiya ruler? Ganapati Deva. So, who was the famous founder of Vijayanagara Empire? Harihara and Bukka. These two brothers are established the same. What was the capital of Vijayanagara Empire? Is the Hampi. Okay, you have to remember. So, which Telugu literary work written by Krishna Devaraya? Okay, what work he written? Amukta Malyada. So you have to remember. The Battle of Talikota was found in which year? It is 1565 CE. Okay. Then we'll go to next slide. So write this and repeat the same. You will have good marks. This particular history based on memory only. So you cannot assume anything. You have to memorize the answers. Okay. Then here, let me. So who founded the Qutub Shahi dynasty? So the Qutub Shahi dynasty is founded by Sultan Kuli Qutub Shah. So Charminar was built by the Qutub Shahi ruler. Who is that ruler? Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah. Okay, Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah. Founder is Sultan Kuli Qutub Shah and Charminar is built by the Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah. So in which year the Qutub Shahi dynasty was conquered by Aurangzeb? So in 1687. So what you have to remember, the Hyderabad city was founded in 1591 CE by the Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah. The Kohinoor diamond originated from Golconda Fort. Ramappa temple received UNESCO World Heritage in 2021. So what the important point, remember here about the three dynastic Kakatiya points. So the capital is Urugallu or Varangal. The greatest ruler in Kakatiya, Ganapati Deva. The famous ruler is Rudrama Devi. Famous monuments, Ramappa Temple. And it is ended 1323 CE by Delhi Sultan. Then Vijayanagara key points. You have to remember Vijayanagara dynasty founded in 1336 CE. Capital is Hampi. The greatest ruler is Krishnadevaraya. Battle of Talikota, which is done 1565 CE. The famous for Vittala temple and stone chariot. It is about the Vijayanagara. Then Qutub Shahi, so which is founded 1518 CE. Capital is Golconda, Hyderabad. Famous for Charminar, 1951 CE. So the diamonds are procured from Golconda, which is ended 1587. So this is about the by Aurangzeb. So this is a small presentation. Okay. So watch this patiently and take the notes, and that will be helpful to you. So I'm post the same in your description. Download, take the printout, or write the same. Listen and again share with your friends, and you're going to succeed in your TET examination as well as DAC or Google examination. Thank you.